Okay, so we're ready for another deep dive. And this time we're heading to Japan, specifically Osaka, which, as I'm sure you know, is known as Japan's kitchen.
Yeah, and I think that's a great way to describe it. When you consider the sheer variety and quality of food available there, it's really quite staggering.
I've heard so much about it. Honestly, it's been at the top of my travel list for a while now, and I'm really excited to dive into this and figure out what exactly makes Osaka such a food lover's paradise.
Well, I think one thing that's really interesting about Osaka is its historical context.
Yeah.
Going all the way back to the Edo period, Osaka was this incredibly important trading hub. So there was this constant flow of ingredients and culinary ideas coming from all over Japan and beyond. And I think that really laid the foundation for the city's incredibly vibrant food scene that we see today.
That makes a lot of sense. When you have that kind of cultural crossroads and exchange of ideas and ingredients, it's bound to lead to some pretty incredible culinary innovation.
Exactly. And I think you can still see those influences in a lot of the dishes that are so popular in Osaka today.
So for people like me who are, maybe first-time travelers to Japan, what are some of the things that we should definitely try to experience in Osaka when it comes to food? What are those can't-miss dishes or experiences?
Oh, there are so many. Let's see, where do we even begin? Well, I think a good starting point would be takoyaki.
Mm-hmm.
You've probably seen pictures of these little round octopus balls. They're absolutely ubiquitous in Osaka, and for good reason. They're savory and delicious, and they really capture that fun street food vibe that Osaka is known for.
Oh, yeah, I've definitely seen those. They look so good. Those are the ones with the little pieces of octopus inside, right?
Yep, exactly. And they're cooked on these special griddles that create those perfect little round shapes.
So where would you recommend we go to find the best takoyaki in Osaka? Are there specific neighborhoods or stalls that are particularly famous for it?
Well, I think one place you definitely have to check out is Dotonbori. It's kind of like the Times Square of Osaka. It's this bustling entertainment district with tons of bright lights and amazing street food. And you'll find takoyaki stalls pretty much everywhere you look.
Oh, wow. So it's like a sensory overload in the best possible way. I mean, all those lights and smells and sounds. It must be incredible.
It really is. It's definitely an experience you won't forget. And speaking of Dotonbori, you can't go there without trying kushikatsu.
Kushikatsu. Okay, so I'm not familiar with that one. What is it?
So kushikatsu is basically deep-fried skewers of all sorts of different things. You'll find everything from meat and seafood to vegetables and cheese, all coated in a light, crispy batter and deep-fried to perfection.
Oh, wow. That sounds amazing. I love anything deep fried, and I'm always up for trying new things. So, okay, Donbori is definitely on the list for takoyaki and kushikatsu. What else should we venture out of that area for anything?
Oh, absolutely. There's so much more to Osaka than just Dotonbori, although it's definitely a great starting point. I think one neighborhood that's worth checking out is Shinsekai.
Shinsekai. Okay,
Yeah.
so what's special about that area?
Well, Shinsekai has this really cool retro vibe to it. It's like stepping back in time to the 1960s. It's at this iconic tower called Tsukunkaku Tower, and the food scene there is fantastic.
Yeah.
They're also known for their kushikatsu, but they have a lot of other specialties as well, like doteyaki, which is this rich, slow-braised beef tendon stew.
Okay, that sounds incredible. And I love that each neighborhood seems to have its own unique specialties. It's like you could spend weeks just exploring all the different culinary nooks and crannies of Osaka.
Oh, absolutely. You definitely could.
Yeah.
And I think one thing that's really cool about Osaka is that you can find amazing food at all price points. You don't have to break the bank to eat well there.
Yeah.
You can have an incredible meal at a Michelin-starred restaurant, or you can just as easily grab some delicious street food for a couple of dollars.
So it's a very accessible food scene,
Mm-hmm.
which is great. I mean, you don't want to have to feel like you have to be a millionaire to experience the best that a city has to offer.
Exactly. And I think that's one of the things that makes Osaka so special. It's this incredibly vibrant and welcoming food culture where everyone can find something to enjoy.
So, okay, we've talked about takoyaki, kushikatsu, and dorayaki.
Mhm.
Are there any other must-try dishes that we should add to our Osaka food itinerary?
Well, I think you definitely can't go to Osaka without trying okonomiyaki.
Okonomiyaki. Okay, I've heard of that one.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I'm not entirely sure what it is. Fill me in.
So okonomiyaki is sometimes called a Japanese pancake or a savory pancake.
Mm.
But I think it's really its own unique thing. It's basically this batter made with flour, cabbage, and other ingredients that's cooked on a griddle. And then you can add all sorts of toppings like meat, seafood, vegetables, cheese, and different sauces. It's very customizable, and it's really delicious.
Okay, so it's like a build-your-own pancake situation, but savory.
Exactly. And it's often cooked right at your table on a hot griddle.
Yeah.
So it's a very interactive and fun dining experience.
So is there a specific place we should go for okonomiyaki, or is it pretty widely available, like the takoyaki and kushikatsu?
You'll find okonomiyaki pretty much everywhere in Osaka, but there are definitely some areas that are known for having particularly good versions. Like there's a district called Ikuno Koreatown, which has a lot of great okonomiyaki restaurants.
Interesting. Okay, so there's even a Korean influence on the food scene in Osaka. That's really cool. I'm noticing a theme here of diversity and fusion in Osaka cuisine.
Yeah, definitely. I
Yeah.
think that's a big part of what makes Osaka's food culture so unique. It's this incredible melting pot of different influences and flavors.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here in terms of specific dishes, but I'm curious, what about the overall dining experience in Osaka? Is there anything unique or specific that we should be aware of in terms of customs or etiquette?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I think one of the most important things to remember is that in Japan, slurping your noodles is considered a sign of enjoyment. It's not rude. It actually shows the chef that you're really savoring their food.
Oh, wow. Okay, so that's the opposite of what we're taught in a lot of Western cultures, where slurping is definitely frowned upon.
Yeah, it's definitely a cultural difference, but it's a good one to be aware of. And also, I think in general, Japanese dining culture is very respectful and polite. So, things like saying thank you after your meal and not speaking too loudly are always appreciated.
That makes sense. I mean, those are good manners anywhere, really. But it's good to be extra mindful of those things when you're traveling in a different culture.
Absolutely. And I think another thing to keep in mind is that tipping is not customary in Japan.
Oh, really? Okay. That's good to know. Because I always feel a little awkward about tipping when I'm traveling in a different country. I never know what the appropriate amount is or if it's even expected.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But in Japan, you really don't have to worry about that at all.
Okay, so slurping your noodles is a compliment. Tipping is not expected. What other cultural insights can you offer for navigating the Osaka food scene?
Well, I think one thing that's really cool about Japanese dining is the emphasis on seasonality. They really celebrate the freshest ingredients of each season. And you'll often see menus change throughout the year to reflect what's in season.
Oh, that's a great point. And I think that's something that we can all learn from, really
Right.
appreciating the natural rhythms of the seasons and eating what's fresh and local.
Definitely. And I think that's something that you'll really notice in Osaka. The food there just tastes so fresh and vibrant.
Yeah.
And that's because they're really using the best ingredients that are available at that time of year.
So I'm sensing a theme here of respect for tradition and for nature in Osaka's culinary culture.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a big part of what makes Japanese cuisine so special in general.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about the food itself, but what about getting around Osaka? Is it easy to get from place to place? How do you recommend people navigate the city?
Yeah, Osaka has a fantastic public transportation system.
Yeah.
The subway and train network is really efficient and easy to use. And it's also very affordable.
So that's good to know. I mean, I always feel a little intimidated by public transportation in big cities, but it sounds like Osaka's system is pretty user-friendly.
It really is.
Yeah.
And you can get pretty much anywhere you need to go using the subway or train. And if you're planning on doing a lot of traveling around the city, I would definitely recommend getting an ICOCA card.
An ICOCA card. Okay, so what's that?
It's basically a prepaid travel card that you can use on all the public transportation in Osaka. You just tap it on the reader when you enter and exit the station. And it's really convenient. You don't have to worry about buying individual tickets every time you travel.
Oh, that's super helpful, especially if you're in a hurry or you don't speak Japanese very well. I can imagine that trying to figure out the ticket machines could be a bit stressful.
Yeah, definitely. An ICOCA card is really easy to use. You can buy it at most major train stations.
Yeah.
And you can also top it up if you need to.
So, okay, we've covered transportation. What about accommodation? Are there specific areas that you would recommend staying in for easy access to the best food experiences?
Well, I think it really depends on your budget and what kind of vibe you're looking for. I mean, there's some great hotels in the city center, but they can be quite expensive.
Yeah, that's true. So if you're on a tighter budget, are there more affordable options that are still conveniently located?
Yeah, absolutely. There are a lot of great guest houses and hostels in Osaka that are really affordable and clean. And they're often located in really cool neighborhoods with lots of great restaurants and bars nearby.
Oh, that's good to know. So you don't necessarily have to sacrifice location or comfort to stay within your budget.
Exactly. And I think, honestly, staying in one of those more local neighborhoods can actually enhance your experience
Yeah.
because you're really immersed in the culture. And you're more likely to discover those hidden gems that you might not find if you're just staying in a touristy area.
That makes a lot of sense. So, okay, accommodation, transportation, we've ticked those boxes. What about any final tips or advice for first-time travelers to Osaka? Anything that we should definitely keep in mind or anything that we should definitely avoid doing?
Well, I think one thing to keep in mind is that Japanese culture is very respectful of personal space. So, try to avoid being too loud or boisterous in public. And also, littering is a big no-no. Japan is a very clean country. So make sure you dispose of your trash properly.
Okay, so respect personal space. Don't litter. Got it. Anything else?
Oh, and I think it's always a good idea to learn a few basic Japanese phrases before you go. Even if it's just hello, thank you, and excuse me. It shows that you're making an effort and it will be appreciated.
Absolutely. I always try to learn at least a few basic phrases when I'm traveling to a new country, even if I'm not very good at it. It's just a sign of respect, I think.
Exactly. And you'd be surprised how much even just a few words can go a long way in terms of making connections with people and feeling more comfortable in a new environment.
So overall, it sounds like Osaka is a very welcoming and accessible city for travelers, even if it's your first time visiting Japan.
Yeah, I think so. It's a city that's full of energy and excitement, and the food scene is just incredible. There's truly something for everyone there. And I think you'll find that the people are very friendly and helpful.
Amazing. Okay, well, you've officially sold me on Osaka. I'm adding it to the top of my travel bucket list as soon as possible. Hopefully, I'll be able to experience all these incredible food adventures for myself soon.
Awesome. Well, I hope you do. And when you do, be sure to come back and tell me all about it.
Absolutely, I will. Thanks so much for sharing all this amazing insight into Osaka's food scene. I feel like I've learned so much, and I'm even more excited to visit now.
My pleasure. I'm glad I could help spark your wanderlust.
So until our next deep dive, happy travels and happy eating.